Hey everyone, and welcome to day 3 of the audio upgrade. It's not actually day 3, but essentially this is the third installment in the videos, and today what we're doing is audio treatment. So I've ordered these particular ones. I'll have a link for these from Amazon in the description below. So what these were, and let me just double check that label. Yeah, so what these were was some panels that I actually saw from BXI. So BXI actually produce acoustic panels. They actually produce a variety of different panels, and I noticed on Amazon they actually had a few of their cheaper ones listed. Now these seem to be exactly the same thing as BXI's, apart from the fact that these already have the sort of sticker on the back. So essentially what this is a stiff board, so it's not the cheap floppy foam pads that you see all over Amazon. These are basically a dense, I think they're a polyester fiber. So as you can see, it's kind of deadening the sound. Obviously they're not very thick, but that obviously means that they can be a little bit cheaper, and it means that you can do a larger surface area for the same amount of price. So all of these have basically cost me probably around about the same as one sound treatment panel. And the plan for today is basically your corners. So I've already started down here, so it's going to be difficult for you to see. So what I'll do is I'll turn on a torch, and yeah, it's going to be a little flashy. There you go, that's a bit better. So as you can see, what I've done is I've worked out roughly where this one will go as far as the reflection point. Now obviously there is a little bit left in the corner, so what I may do is any offcuts that I have remaining at the end, I may just put a few extra inserts in there, but in theory this is beyond the speaker anyway, so the only thing that's doing is killing off some of the reflection from maybe the sub. In terms of the actual panels themselves, so as you can see, it does deaden it down quite a bit. What I may do with this one is also extend it up. I can't go any lower because basically there's not really much point, because I've got all my sockets and everything down there. So as far as this level goes, for this height level, it's perfect for the bottom bit. And then what I may do is just double up on the top section. I probably won't take it right to the edge. I'll see how it goes, how easy this is to actually cut out, because obviously I'll have to notch it in order to do that. So yeah, that's the plan for today. So I mean, you can probably tell from the actual videos that it is still quite echoey in the room, despite obviously having very thick carpet. This is the thickest carpet I could find, as well as the rug, and obviously all of your furniture, soft furniture, that kind of absorbs a lot of echo as well. But obviously at the moment the roof and everything is, or the ceiling is still all untreated. So I hopefully today I'll see how it goes with this particular product, but I'm hoping that side wall, and then depending on how much I've got left over, I will see which other areas I want to actually get treated. The back wall will need doing, and obviously all of this will get moved. I'm waiting for some shelving that I can place all of this into for the other room. This is only in here temporarily, even though it's been in here for a couple of months now. All the YouTube gear, if I don't use it regularly, then I just pack it away. One other thing I did mention yesterday's video, or the previous video, that the sub would be facing that way. Now I think, looking at how much of a gap I have, I could actually potentially have it firing straight forward, so it'd probably count as a near field subwoofer in that instance as well. But obviously with it being the only one that I've got right now, ideal situation is I keep it at the front of the room. So that is still the plan, to have this all shuffle across and then just have it dropped on its side, probably that way, so then the ports are firing towards the center of the room. Actually no, I'll probably do it the other way, so I'll have the woofer firing towards the center of the room rather than outwards. And yeah, and then tidy up all the cables. But today's plan is obviously sound deadening, so I'll get on with that. Okay, so here we are back. Acoustic treatment is fitted. So what I've done is, for now, I've gone with 6 panels on that side, so that's basically helping with the front left speaker. I've gone with a weird kind of pattern on this side because I kind of messed up, because I'll show you later, but on the other side of this window I actually started on the windowsill, and it worked out perfectly where you could actually get 3 in this instance, I would have to cut one piece, and basically I don't want the cut edge being on the window side, and it looked kind of strange having it cut on that side now. So instead, what I've done for now, I've just made a little pattern. Another thing that I've actually noticed, let me just kill this light. Another thing that I've actually noticed is because of the type of material, you will notice here how much less reflection you actually get. So aside from the acoustic sort of side of things, I'm thinking about actually completing this portion on both sides, just so then it actually gets rid of some of that reflection for me as well. Reflection in terms of light back onto the screen. So that's an added little bonus that's actually come about as a result of installing this. Now, obviously right now you can actually see it quite clearly, because as it gets darker and you basically use other light, they're more noticeable. These ones probably not so much, as it's actually a lot more obvious on the camera than it is actually in person to what I'm actually seeing. Those ones obviously there will be, but like I said, I'm thinking about just running them the entire length up, just to have it like that. Now in the back, so as you can see, this particular wall is very, very difficult. So obviously now that the gain's changed slightly, you can notice it a little, and that should help. So what I've done is, initially I started in that corner, I went across. Now the problem I had was, in order for me to take this speaker off, there's a pencil line just underneath where I've actually started. So I've had to offset this one slightly against this one, because I didn't really think about where to start this one. With this one, what I did was I started right up to the edge, and as you can see, that's running right to the edge, so I've got a nice clean setup on that side. It unfortunately does mean it's a little staggered, but if I do the same thing and just run this entirely up, I could then do a similar thing where maybe I'd do a pattern and just blend it out that way. I did run out, so what I've done is I've ordered a few more sets, quite a few more sets, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this along the side. Now bear in mind that your ear level is going to be around about here. So what I did was I have actually run that one down as well. Now because the walls are never flat, and the walls in this house are particularly bad, there are a few, so let me see if I can try and show you. So you might just, yeah, there, you might just be able to see it. So just there you can see that there is a tiny little gap, and same thing on the one next to it as well. That's just going to be like that, because even when you get it level, because that was the key thing, I was just trying to keep it level as we're going across. Even when you're getting it level, unfortunately the wall is still bending in and out, so it's never going to be perfect. But for the most part, unless you go looking for it, you're not really going to notice that. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with these corner pieces just yet. I am thinking about running it down and possibly running one just underneath the speakers as well. Now one thing you may have actually noticed is that particular speaker is actually slightly higher. I may change that, so I might actually redo this speaker. That was just a mistake on my part when I actually did the measurement. So the measurement, because the floor is lower on this side, I did a measurement from the floor, and obviously that was the wrong way of doing it. I should have tried to get a level or something going across and done it that way. Either way, it's not a massive deal. This one as well as that one, so initially with all of the surround speakers, I matched them up to that, so that was the height that I wanted everything else at, and basically that one and also that one are all the same. That one for some reason ended up higher just because basically I did the measurement incorrect, so it actually ended up slightly higher. Either way, it's not a big deal. It's not that much higher that it's really going to make a massive difference, but if I'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm going to run that across, and I'm hoping to do the similar thing, so just have it go over the top, and then I'll probably run it down and maybe one across the bottom of it as well. On this wall, like I said, that's perfect example, so you can see that reflection just there. It might be better if I turn the light off. Yeah, so you can see how that's actually quite reflective on the wall. However, once it hits these panels, it's actually more of a matte sort of a duller sheen kind of thing. Well, no sheen at all compared to the paint. So it's it's just a little side effect of it. Now, one obviously downside is the fact that it does kind of dull down my LEDs as well, even further, which aren't the brightest as it is anyway, because of how close it is to the actual wall, and because I didn't want it just shining around the edges. I wanted it to actually shine back. Once again, the screen looks red to you. It's not red in person. I can assure you that in person, this looks exactly like it would look on a TV. For whatever reason, iPhones just can't capture this projector, and I've noticed it with other people's videos as well. Various ultra short throws, for whatever reason, I don't know whether it's the frame rate, whether it's the technology within it, but the red laser just seems to be dominant, and it always seems to show up on camera for some reason. So that's where we've got to so far. Now, one thing, I've run a few videos already, a couple of the test videos as well, and the one thing I've noticed straight away just from being in the room is there seems to be less echo. So the bass test I did run a couple of bass tests, and it's improved. There's still boominess coming from there, but it's only once I actually crank the bass very, very high. So I was actually going to, I think it was plus 12 dB gain in order to get it to get back to that boominess. I don't think I'm ever going to run it that. I'll probably just leave it in THX mode and actually run the calibration once all of this is redone, and then basically, depending on where the sub ends up, just maybe crank it up a couple of dB. But yeah, it's definitely made an improvement. I can notice there's less echo in the room. I'm hoping that it does actually come across on the video as well, because obviously initially I was down here, and one thing I've noticed is whenever I come down into these corners and if I speak in any of these corners, before there was a very distinct echo. That for me, I think has definitely reduced. I don't think it's as good as dedicated acoustic panels, but this is so much easier to apply. And that's the main thing. It's not even necessarily the price, because once I've covered the whole room in these, it's probably going to end up being the same as maybe 5 or 6 acoustic panels anyway. But the difference is how easy these are to put on. You literally just peel off the backing and you stick it on, and that's it, job done. With the acoustic panels, a lot of them have sort of triangle mounts that kind of cut into the actual the foam on the back, which means if you were to ever move it, then you'd need to actually get it back into that same place. Otherwise, you end up scraping off the foam. Other ones, you have to drill in hooks or whatever type of mount system. And generally the mounts are extra. They don't actually come with the acoustic panel. So the price that you see doesn't include the mounting system. You generally have to buy those separately. This is, like I said, I wasn't going for something really over the top. Obviously, all of this has still got to get cleared out, and I will hopefully get all of this completed tomorrow. I've ordered 5 more sets of these. So basically that's another 100 quid. But yeah, for the price that I'm gonna have ended up paying, I can already tell a big difference. Whether or not it comes through on camera, and whether or not it makes as big of a difference in terms of just the acoustics in the extreme acoustics, essentially. So the really chest thumping bass, obviously that you still need dedicated bass tracks for something like that. But what I've noticed is audio is very, very clear. And just being in the room and remembering what it used to sound like when I was recording, because right now I'm not using a mic. This is coming straight out of the iPhone microphones, as the previous 2 videos have done as well. So if you're unsure about what kind of a difference this has made, if you just go back and watch either the first section of this video. Now bear in mind that in that first section, the first section of the video, I'd already applied a couple of these panels. It's kind of like some of the treatment was already done. Obviously it wouldn't have made a massive difference because it was just one tiny little section, but some of it was already done. But if you go watch the previous videos, that was when, yeah, the room was kind of littered, so maybe some of that was causing some diffusion as well. But anywhere where I've not used a microphone, I've just gone with the iPhone built-in mics, you can definitely pick up an echo. Now whenever I'm editing the videos, generally I try and treat the audio a little, but what I'll do for this one is I'll treat it in exactly the same way. So in theory, any improvements that come as a result of it should still be amplified in the good sense on this video in comparison to the previous ones. So I'll do it myself. But yeah, if you are curious, obviously this playlist, I've created a new playlist for home theater upgrades, and what I'll do is I'll drop them all in that. And if you go back and you watch it from the first video, second video, and obviously the third video, then it should hopefully show you that, yeah, there's definitely been an improvement. I'm hoping some of this might actually dull down some of the sound that going to the rest of the house, but that's not a priority. That wasn't what I was actually looking to achieve by doing this. This was purely to improve the sound on a budget, because I didn't want to, at this point, obviously quite a bit's been spent. Quite a lot's been provided for free as well. Obviously got to thank Monoprice for the actual Monolith 15 V2. Got to thank American Audio, as well as OSD, American Audio Company, as well as OSD Audio, who actually, obviously OSD Audio created the actual speakers, all of these speakers, and American Audio Company, basically through them, all of these 7, well, it'll end up being 11. Obviously the Atmos channels aren't installed yet, but all of those were provided for free. So around about £7,000 worth of speakers for free, which obviously I'm extremely grateful for. But in that sense, I want to try and maximize the quality coming out of them. And yeah, just by running Audyssey, I could instantly tell that the speakers are good, but it wasn't actually making the most of them by not having any treatment. So treatment was always on the card. I was always going to do it. It was just always going to be the last thing. Same thing with the ceiling as well. I will get some treatment for the ceiling as well, but obviously I need to, there's 2 things I want to do with the ceiling. So I want to change the light to just spotlights. And before I can do the spotlights, I want to get my Atmos speakers in. Now with the ceiling speakers, what I am also planning is, even though I'm going with 4 in ceiling speakers, I am going to actually leave it so then the location for your center heights, I'm going to leave them empty as well, so they're not going to get taken up by any spotlights or anything else that I actually install. If I do choose to go with center heights further down the line, then that then leaves a perfect position where I can just add them to the system. And the AVR that I have, the Marantz SR8015, if I get an external 2-channel amp, I'll be able to actually run 13 channels via this. So it'll be 11 channels internally, 2 channels externally, or obviously I can, if I wanted to, I could power, say for example, all of the surround speakers off an external one. Either way, it can process 13 channels, so I do have the option of adding 2 extra channels. Now in my setup, obviously there's no point in getting front wides, because I mean you can't get much wider than I've already got. So the other option when you're going 13 channel is either 7.1.6 or 9.1.4. so for me personally, 7.1.6 would be the better option, where it gives you more height channels essentially. So, or there's always the option of front heights as well, or something like that, some sort of Auro 3D setup. But I think, bearing in mind the rest of it's going to be Atmos, I'd like to stick to Atmos and actually add center heights as well. So, but that's not urgent. That can be something that's added further down the line. And for now, the box, just single box, running all of these speakers, powering everything, signal, it's just all in one tiny little section. And obviously I can put that wherever I want, heat managed reasonably well as well. Performance wise, very happy with the Marantz so far, and also the speakers, but obviously I want to try and maximize everything. So yeah, that is where we're at. It's almost sunset, so it's nearly prayer time as well. So yeah, I'll wrap up. This video has gone on quite a long time as usual with all my videos. I will have more videos coming, so there will be more updates. I'll probably do another one tomorrow, just giving you a sort of finishing look at what I've gone with. I do also have a separate design that I'm thinking for this particular wall, but I may do that further down the line. But anyway, that's it for this particular video. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload any new videos. And I'd really appreciate if you can also give this video a thumbs up and also share it with any friends, family that might be interested in home theater. And until the next one, thanks very much for watching.